Liminal space. A state of place characterized by being transitional or intermediate in some way, or any location that is unsettling, uncanny, or dreamlike. This, according to dictionary.com, is the definition of one of the most fascinating concepts that I have ever come across on the near endless expanses of the internet. The word liminal, derived from the Latin root limen, which means threshold, was first used in English by psychologist James Sully in 1884. The concept of liminality as a state of transition was then developed by anthropologist Arnold van Gennep in the early 1900s in his book Rites of Passage, with further development by anthropologist Victor Turner in the 1960s. While these men of science applied the concept of liminality to the studies of psychology and anthropology, it wouldn't be until the late 2010s when the concept of liminal space became popular. People sharing pictures of places that seem as if they have been abandoned for years, or are even not of this world, began to circulate as early as 2019, and were cemented forever in the internet zeitgeist of the early 2020s with the COVID-19 pandemic. Images of seemingly abandoned places of infrastructure such as gas stations and malls due to lockdowns can in part be credited for how popular the liminal space aesthetic is today. But even though the concept of liminal space didn't become vastly popular until the pandemic, one post-apocalyptic video game based on the novel of the same name by Russian author Dmitry Glukhovsky from developer 4A Games used liminal imagery and liminal space along with a dripping amount of atmosphere and realistic gameplay elements to flesh out one of the most immersive video game experiences that I have ever played. So put on your gas masks, charge up your flashlights, and join me on a journey through the gripping world and story of Metro 2033. Our story begins with our protagonist Artyom and an unknown ally ascending a ladder towards a goal that the player is currently unaware of. The grime, decay, and age of the place that you are currently in is striking, and it makes you wonder if you might be the first souls to come here in a very long time. After opening an old but secure door, with a little manual effort on your part, you and your companion make your way up to the surface, but not before scavenging and scrounging for supplies such as gas mask filters, medkits, and ammo. One hop, skip, and literal jump later, and you are a staircase away from the surface. Due to the still high amounts of radiation on the surface, gas masks are required from this point forward.
We're almost there. This is the Korolev Performance Hall. It's really close to the tower. Load your weapon! Suki, here they come.
After fighting mutant denizens of the dead world above the metro tunnels, known as Watchers, you make your way outside and finally see your goal, a tower.
And here it is, Artyomушka. Our goal.
Come in, Pullman! Come in! Over.
The operation to get to this tower seems big and important, but you, the player, are still not fully aware of just how important it truly is, and will still not be aware until you are much further into the game. After almost getting run over, which would have been the dumbest way to die after the end of the world, you link up with other members of the team. But something doesn't feel right, and your suspicions are soon confirmed.
Glad to see you, Colonel. Did you hear that? Listen. What the hell is it? Form a circle!
A horde of mutants passes by, and it is not long before you and your comrades are under attack. After desperately trying to fight them off, a flying mutant known as a demon comes by, destroys the car, and seemingly does in our budding hero. But there is more to the story than just a short-lived operation, so instead of the game ending right there, we are transported back 8 days earlier in order to see how Artyom would wind up getting himself into the situation that we found him in. And this is where the game truly begins. While in our room at Exhibition Station, our father comes by and tells us that a friend named Hunter has come by with potentially news from the other stations. Hunter is a member of an elite paramilitary organization known as the Rangers of the Order. Known as Rangers or Spartans, the Order travels the metro and the surface, eliminating any mutants or bandits that they find preying on the weak. On your way to greet Hunter, you pass through the infirmary and find that the station is under near constant attack from a new type of mutant foe known as the Dark Ones. Your stepfather hopes that Hunter has some news about this new threat to the fragile existence that is living in the Moscow metro system. After the guards let Hunter in, he gives you his 2 cents on the Dark Ones situation.
What the hell? Something much worse.
Dark Ones. Well, whatever in hell they are, my order has a motto. If it's hostile, you kill it.
All of a sudden, the station is under attack and you quickly have to grab a gun and defend yourself from mutants known as Nosalises, which are said to have mutated from moles. But just when you think the attack was only from Nosalises, you are unfortunately gravely mistaken.
No Dark Ones here. Just the usual tunnel trash.
Even when you don't see them, the Dark Ones are there. Fear. That's their weapon. That's what made the Nosalises run through the tunnels like rats. The Dark Ones are not simple mutants. They're Homo Novus, the next step in evolution. You've heard about survival of the fittest? Guess what? We lost.
What's happened to you, Alex? You can go like lambs to the slaughter. I'll hang on to whatever life I got with teeth and claws. And I'll take more than a few of your Homo Novus with me to hell.
You think you're some old movie cowboy? Have a look, Hunter. 10 soldiers trained in combat. Their bodies broken, their minds gone.
The Dark Ones! They destroyed the outer guard post!
The devil knows what's happening out there, beyond your perimeter. I must go recon the situation. Listen carefully at him. If I'm not back here by morning, you must get to police station and find a man named Miller. Tell him what's happened to me, and what's stirring in the northern tunnels. Show this to Miller, so he knows I've sent you. I trust everything to you, Abdir. Don't let me down. If we are to survive, this threat must be eliminated, no matter the cost. Eliminated. Understand?
After Hunter does not return, Artyom hatches a plan to guard a transport caravan that is heading to a southern station called Riga, and then make his way from there to Polis in order to fulfill the promise that he made to his friend. The Moscow metro system is a vast underground network that is made up of 12 primary lines, 188 stations, and 313.1 kilometers or 194.5 miles of primary track length. Only having recently turned 20 years old since the bombs fell in his birth year of 2013, this journey is not going to be easy or straightforward by a long shot. After collecting your things and playing a few musical instruments on your way out, you make your way to the armory to get geared up for the journey. The gunsmith gives you an SMG colloquially known in the metro as the bastard gun, more on that later, some ammo, a universal charger to keep your flashlight charged, a gas mask, and army-issued first aid kits. Now that you are fully geared up, you are ready to join the caravan. After picking up a merchant who is on his way back to Riga, you are ready to set off into the unknown nightmares of the metro tunnels. Along the way, a man tells you that a main tunnel collapse happened in the tunnel that connects Exhibition to Riga, so you have to forego the well-lit and straightforward tunnel for the barely lit roundabout tunnel. Great. Anyway, a few moments later you begin to see ghostly apparitions of people long dead. In what seems like a matter of seconds, some unknown phenomenon knocks out you and your comrades, and you begin to see strange visions. Once you wake up, you are then embroiled in a chase with some Nosalises, and the merchant is lost in the fight. Just before you are about to reach Riga, you take a tumble and have to run to the station entrance where the station guards use a flamethrower to fight back the mutants.
That was hot. I need a drink.
All right, boys. Let's train to our friend Artyom, who goes right through monsters and anomalies alike. To Artyom.
To you!
After having a drink with the men that saved you from the mutants, and getting a little reward of military ammo for your trouble, Artyom has to find a way to reach Polis from Riga. While on your way out of the bar, you run into a kid in an oversized jacket who appears to have a message for you.
Are you Artyom? Hey, there's a man at the Black Street waiting for you. I'll guide you there for one bullet. Thanks, let's go!
After following the kid through the housing district of Riga, you arrive at a little cubbyhole nestled in amongst the many run-down shanties.
That's him sitting over there. Well, I'll be going. Bye.
Come here. You're Artyom, right? Sit down. Everybody calls me Bourbon. Listen, I need to get to Dry Station for some business, but this rat hole is on lockdown. I, however, know a back way. A so-called cursed passage the locals are afraid to use. But I hear the shit in the tunnels doesn't work on you. So, you help me get to Dry, I'll give you my AK when we get there. Deal? Good. Here's an advance payment in case you need to gear up first.
After hearing his proposal, and with no other way to leave Riga, you accept Bourbon's offer and take the military-grade ammo that he gives you to supply up before leaving. Since money has become essentially worthless after the bombs dropped, the new currency in the Metro is military-grade ammo. The military-grade ammo that you find hidden throughout the game world, and given to you in situations like this, can be used to buy supplies such as guns, medkits, gas mask filters, and ammunition. You can also use the high-quality ammo in your weapons, and you are incentivized to do so since the quality of the ammo leads to higher damage output than normal ammo that you find or buy. But if you literally blow all of your military-grade ammo on mutants and other enemies, then you will be hard-pressed for money at later points in the game. I always prefer to stockpile as much military-grade ammo as I can throughout various means of collection, so that I have enough money to buy all of the necessary weapons, useful attachments, and supplies that I will need throughout the game. But I guess if you want to add an extra challenge, you can spend or use all of your high-quality ammo as soon as you get it. There is no truly correct way to play Metro 2033. The only thing that you must do is survive. After gearing up and returning to Bourbon, you both set off for the secret tunnel that he said the locals were superstitious about. As you proceed through the abandoned tunnels, you can sense that the air is probably thick and stuffy, yet also cold and dead at the same time. This is Metro 2033's greatest strength. This is why the game became a cult classic. It is moments like this where just you and maybe one companion are traveling through a place that was once so alive. This is where the concept of liminal space truly shines in regards to the game world. Nearly everywhere you go in the game aside from the metro stations are abandoned, dead, and lost relics of a bygone world. Whether it's the dim and dank metro tunnels, or the cold frozen desolation of nuclear winter on the surface, the game locations of Metro 2033 never cease to be unsettling, uncanny, or even nightmarish. Continuing further down the tunnel and through an old subway train, you come across fresh dead bodies of people who were killed by bandits. Going through a side entrance and over a tripwire, you reach where the bandits have made their camp. When encountering groups of enemies, you can do one of two things. You can either go in guns ablazing, or turn off your flashlight, take out a silenced weapon, and try to be stealthy. After taking whichever route you decided to take and eliminating any bandits in your way, Bourbon tells you what's up next.
The bridge is a nasty place, so here's the plan. I'll keep you covered and you watch my back. If we work together, we'll make it. But don't play hero boy. I'm in no mood to get killed today.
As you make your way along the bridge, Artyom and Bourbon run into some Nosalises and have to fight them off. Once you make your way across the bridge, you find that the main way is blocked and you have to take a detour to get around. This detour will then lead you to a heavily irradiated graveyard. Bourbon tells you to search the bodies for supplies while he tries to find a way out. But something feels off. After Artyom fights off the malevolent visions and saves Bourbon, they both come to an entrance to Market Station, a pretty prosperous station run by Hansa, or the Hanseatic League, a capitalist democratic faction that controls the entire ring line of the Moscow metro. After Bourbon gets the guards' attention, and you fight off some more Nosalises, some Hansa guards on a trolley come by and save you. They are willing to let you in after some convincing from Bourbon, and Bourbon seems to have had dealings with this station in the past.
Hey, Mikhailovich, what a coincidence! I was just coming to visit you!
You hear that, boys? Set out the good dishes. Bourbon's come to visit.
Nah, don't go running off, Bourbon. We've got a little job to finish, then we'll get back to you. Remember where you should wait for me?
I do.
You sure? I can help you remember. You get me right?
Absolutely.
After getting let in and Bourbon vouching for you, you are told by Bourbon to take some money and buy some gas mask filters. After buying the filters, you meet up with Bourbon near the bar and make your way over to one of the exits to the surface where Bourbon's made a deal with one of the guards.
Get ready, everyone! The gate's opening!
Are you sure, Commander?
Take your positions! Cover me!
Damn, I hate this so much.
One time I went to Belarus. I had some connections and no support there at the time, so I went right through Hamza. So I made my quiet there and fixed the deal. We went out the third way.
Well, it looks quiet.
Looks clear! Go!
Спасибо. We need to move our asses.
After making your way to the surface and scavenging for some supplies, you and Bourbon leave the building and head out towards the entrance to Dry Station. One failed jump later, and you are on your own trying to take a detour to regroup back up with Bourbon. Along the way, you can scavenge for more ammo, filters, medkits, and military-grade ammo, while also running across some watchers here and there. While in what was once an office building, Artyom has another vision. What this represents is the Dark Ones trying to get a message to Artyom, a message that Artyom does not currently understand. Once you come to an old playground, Artyom has another more vivid vision, and a Dark One can be seen after the vision passes. After finally linking up with Bourbon, you continue on your way before being immediately attacked by some watchers and a few demons. After a fairly lengthy fight, you come to the realization that you can't beat them and that you have to flee, and fast. After continuing a ways further through the ventilation system towards Dry Station, Bourbon gets captured by bandits that have seemingly taken over control of the station. Once he's captured, you are able to take and use his Kalash to make your way through the station and find him. When encountering stealth sections like this throughout the game, it is best to use a suppressed weapon, take it slowly, and put out any lights that you see along the way. After making your way through the station, you get the feeling that someone is helping you from the shadows, but you cannot be sure who. But once you arrive at a well-lit door, your questions are finally answered.
What did you bring with you, bastard? Answer, suka, or I will shot you up! What? Who is it? Who is it? One night! Hypocrite Bourbon who?
Artyom!
Who the fuck is...
You can keep your weapon down, young man.
A sad, but not unexpected finale for the likes of him.
My name is Khan.
Well, I suggest that we leave this place immediately.
The companions of these bandits will show up soon enough, and I'd prefer to avoid more bloodshed.
I'm going back to Cursed.
This station's humidity is making me rheumatic.
If you'd rather share your friend's fate,
then, by all means, stay.
After meeting this mysterious man, you decide to follow him, seeing as there is nowhere else to go, and he tells you that his name is Khan, and that he must get back to Cursed Station, a station that is under near constant attack from mutants, hence the name. Of all of the people that you have met in the metro so far, Khan seems to have a deeper handle on the mysterious and ghostly phenomena of the tunnels, as you will soon see. After getting jump-scared by a pipe ghost and continuing further down the tunnel, seeing ghostly apparitions as you go, you and Khan get to see an otherworldly sight.
Move aside, Artyom. This tunnel has to relive its past over and over again, and those who were unfortunate enough to walk here at such a moment usually join that past.
Continuing further, you encounter more ghosts of a battle that once raged in the metro tunnels. Once Khan uses prayer to part the spirits, you are able to pass unharmed. At the entrance to a divergent tunnel, Khan gives you his interesting take on why the spirits haunt the metro.
It appears that the devastation we brought upon ourselves was complete. Heaven, hell, and purgatory were atomized as well. So when a soul leaves the body, it has nowhere to go and must remain here, in the metro. A harsh but not undeserved atonement for our sins, wouldn't you agree?
After continuing even further into the abandoned infrastructure and exiting into another abandoned tunnel, you come across another now permanent resident of the metro.
Don't move. Phenomenon in a new world. Shh. Wicked phenomenon, yes. But, you know, it's not any more evil than, say, fire. It all depends on your point of view. Try to get a better understanding of things before you make your judgment. Let's move out now. It's not safe here.
After getting a lesson in not judging a book by its cover, Artyom and Khan press further on and soon run into some Nosalises that they have to fight off until an anomaly comes by it and takes out the rest. A bit further up ahead, you and Khan arrive at a trolley and take it the rest of the way to Cursed Station. After arriving at the station, you find out that the station is again under attack, and Khan asks the defenders for a report on the current situation.
Where do the monsters come from?
As always, from the left tunnel and from the crossing. We sent a demolition squad there, but they never came back. And there is no one else we could send.
You are eager to avert your station's doom, Artyom, are you not? And here the doom has already arrived. We must help. Find the remains of the demo squad. They had a bomb. Move it into the left tunnel as far as you can, then run for it. The explosion will be massive. As for the crossing, it's already been buried once, but looks like the Nosalises have dug through the cave-in. There was an airlock close by. It must have been left open. Try locking or collapsing it. I'll stay here with the survivors. Try luring the monsters towards us if there are too many.
This section is particularly tense due to you having to go on your own towards where the mutants are coming from, but you must do this in order to prevent more attacks on the station. After running past and shooting a few Nosalises, you find the remains of the demo squad and a bomb made out of a jerry can that was lost with them. After securing the bomb, you then have to head deep into the left tunnel in order to demolish it once and for all. The second place where the mutants are coming from can be accessed by stairs in the middle part of the metro tunnel. Once you are there, a pipe bomb on a support post is all that it takes to hopefully permanently seal the tunnel. After completing your mission, Artyom then regroups with Khan.
A big war at a small station was won. I won't be going further with you. I'm still needed here. The tunnels have collapsed. If you still want to get to Polis, you'll have to take a detour. You can get to the armory from here, and afterwards you will have to go through the stations belonging to the Reds and the Nazis. Let's move.
After Khan dispels some more spirits blocking your path, you reach a shrine to hope, as Khan puts it. Khan then opens a piece of sheet metal and leaves you with one last message before you head off for Armory Station.
That's it. Get in. Remember, everything depends on you and you alone. Until we meet again, goodbye, Artyom.
Climbing through a tunnel and then through a vent, you reach the entrance to Armory Station. But once you get inside, you find that the supposedly free station might not be so free after all, since it's under the watchful eye of the Reds. While trying to find Andrew the blacksmith, you walk in on something that you weren't supposed to.
Prepare for inspection.
I'm always...
Hush! And who are you? The comedian's boyfriend! Put your hands out! You're under arrest.
All right. Lay off. I'll come quietly. Run!
Shoot! I'm gonna kill him! Go! Let's get them!
Come on, follow me! Go!
Be careful, idiots!
Here!
After Andrew the blacksmith saves you from the Reds, he tells you his plan to get you out of Armory Station.
You'll need a disguise. Take these overalls, put them over your clothes. The Reds are rounding up the volunteers to storm the Nazi fortifications. They're about to send a train full of new recruits straight into the fire. But you will be riding the train unannounced. Your seat won't be first class, but you don't have to pay the fare with your own blood either. Once the troop train has passed the roadblocks, you're on your own.
Exiting Andrew's place, you are encouraged to stock up on supplies and ammunition from the vendors nearby. And since we are currently at Armory Station, this is the perfect time to talk about the weapons of the Metro. The one main theme between the majority of Metro 2033's weapons is that they are makeshift in some way. In terms of melee combat, you have a trench knife which can be used to fight both humans and mutants. The only sidearm in the game is the revolver, that is praised for its simplicity, reliability, and stopping power, with its only negative being that it kicks like a mule. Similarly, there is only one SMG, the Bastard Gun. This makeshift submachine gun, although easily made, has a high rate of fire that leads to it quickly overheating and jamming. With regards to ARs, there are three types. There is the Kalash, a classic pre-war assault rifle that boasts high reliability and performance, even though it is quite common in the Metro. Next, there is the Kalash 2012, an AR that was the best in its class at the start of World War III and is extremely sought after due to its great performance. And lastly, there is the VSV, an accurate and powerful assault rifle that has a lower muzzle velocity, which translates to lower noise but faster bullet drop. The sniper rifle class is dominated by the Hellbreath, a railgun that shoots ball bearings at incredible speeds but takes time to charge and does less damage when not at full charge. My favorite class of gun, the shotgun class, has a pretty decent variety of arms. The Asbats is a buckshot-firing heavy machine gun that chews through ammo and does not accept silencers. The Bi-Gun is an easy-to-manufacture shotgun made from bike parts and metal pipes. The Duplet is a 12-gauge shotgun that, with a blast from both barrels, can kill almost any mutant on the spot. And my personal favorite, the Shambler, which is a revolving shotgun that is effective at close and medium range, but takes a long time to fully reload. An interesting class of weapons in the Metro are the pneumatic weapons. The Helsing is a silent revolving airgun that shoots bolts, and the Tikar is a makeshift airgun that shoots small steel balls and is surprisingly silent and accurate. In the special category, there is only one weapon, and that weapon is the flamethrower. It's a makeshift pneumatic weapon that doesn't have a lot of range but can use almost any fuel in the Metro, making it a very versatile weapon for taking out hordes of mutants. Pretty much all of the firearms in the game can also be customized with attachments such as different types of sights, stocks, and barrels. The last category of weapons in the Metro are the throwables. Throwing knives are good to use if you want to be silent, grenades are essentially pipes filled with explosives, sticky grenades are pipes filled with explosives that also have barbs and hooks in order to stick to its target, and incendiary grenades are essentially pipes filled with gasoline. All of these weapons have their uses, and it is up to you to decide which one works for your particular playstyle. After fully stocking up, Artyom heads over to join Andrew and his team. They tell you to get into the pit and then push the trolley cart that is going to be taken to the front lines along with communist soldiers over you. Once you climb up into the storage compartment, you are set to go. After the soldiers get onto the trolley cart, you can hear an insightful dialogue exchange between them as the trolley gets underway.
Why did you join the army?
I followed my political beliefs.
As for me, I'm here for that dough.
How about you? Me? Join the army, they said. See the world, they said. Huh? My father was a Red Army soldier, and his father as well. It's the family tradition.
So tell me, love, is it also your tradition to lose arms and legs on the battlefield?
They were happy to make those sacrifices.
Sure. Drunks and fools are happy too.
There's a black capsule in my ammo pouch. What is that, an antibiotic?
No, it's cyanide, in case the enemy captures you.
What? But God forbid suicide. I'd go straight to hell.
Listen, altar boy. A Nazi prisoner is going to hell anyway. Trust me, the pill is faster.
I could never take my own life.
Then give me your pill. I'd rather swallow two than rot in one of their Stalags.
Just before Artyom is about to reach the front lines of the war between the communists and the Nazis, a bump in the track causes him to fall off of the trolley and barely miss being run over. Now deep in communist territory, your objective is to infiltrate into Nazi territory in order to go from there to Polis. To do this, you need to sneak or fight your way past a sizable chunk of the communist and Nazi armies. When the bombs fell 20 years prior in 2013, life descended down into the Metro, and with the people who fled into the tunnels, conflicting political ideology followed them. In the subsequent 20 years, the stations and lines of the Moscow Metro were taken over by various groups, and on a map of the Metro, this can be easily seen. In order to show the scale of the Metro, Artyom's home station of Exhibition, a member of the Exhibition Riga Alliance, is located here. The Reds, or Communist faction, controls a line of stations that cut right through the Metro and are aptly called the Red Line. The Purple Line has its biggest stations controlled by the Nazis of the so-called Fourth Reich, and are constantly at war with the Reds. The Ring Line and its stations are controlled by Hansa, or the Hanseatic League, the capitalist democratic faction who heavily guard their stations and are not particularly fond of outsiders. The largest and most prosperous of all of the metro stations is Polis, located near the middle of the Moscow metro system. This is where Artyom needs to get to, and as a result, requires him to travel approximately halfway across the entire Moscow metro. Once you are able to make your way to the front, you have to slowly inch your way closer to the Nazi lines while under heavy fire. This section of the game is one of the tensest that you will come across, and it is crazy to think that even after the world as we know it has ended, people are still waging their wars without remembering the lesson that the conflagration above should have taught them. After fully making it inside Nazi territory, you are approached by a trolley with a mounted MG, and have to take it out in order to proceed without being discovered. Delving further into the Nazi outpost ahead, you are able to sneak past most of the soldiers by taking a ladder up towards the ceiling and making your way across some pipes. After pushing further, you come to a door which seems like it might be your ticket to Polis.
Why should we hesitate? Let's shoot this red spy and be done with it.
Shouldn't we call the Gestapo?
It'll take them forever to get here from Reich. Who'll watch this pig till then?
Good point. All right, you red scum. Offer a prayer to your Marx or whoever.
Hey, maybe if you beg, we'll think about killing you quickly.
You know, one thing I like about the bad guys, there's always a lot of discussion before they get around to pulling the trigger. You owe me one, kid. You don't look like a rat. Who the hell are you? That's Hunter's token. I'd better take you to Miller. Whatever message you have, save it for him.
After almost getting executed by Nazi soldiers for being a red spy, Pavel and Ullman, Spartans of the Order, rescue you and promise to get you to Colonel Miller, the leader of the Order in Polis. Due to Ullman having a more pressing task, Artyom and Pavel must take an armored trolley past Nazi defenses in order to reach Black Station. Once you and Pavel get to a Nazi roadblock, the guards see through their ruse and you have to make a quick getaway while being shot at and chased by other trolley cars. This section of the game is the high-octane action part of the game, where the events on screen mirror an 80s action movie. It may get a little tedious at some points, but it still is a fun section to play through. After escaping the Nazi pursuit and a panzer tank, the trolley comes to a stop at a dead end and you have to hustle to make it to a more simple transport trolley, which you must take from there on out to reach Black Station. Another encounter with some Nazis later, and Artyom and Pavel find something big.
The depot! I've heard so much about it. So that's what it looks like.
A sudden mutant attack forces Pavel to put the pedal to the metal and begin another chase. The Nosalises are not ones to give up so easily, and that becomes evident when they catch up. Now, after losing Pavel in the trolley, Artyom must continue further on his own until he reaches Black Station. And the only place to go is into a broken pipe that is conveniently right next to where the trolley crashed. After going through the pipe and emerging on the other side, Artyom arrives at the entrance to Hull Station, and the defenders there are very surprised to see him.
But how? Come here, quickly!
You rarely see a man in those tunnels. Talk to the captain. We're in deep shit here. And now, so are you.
I don't know what the hell you're doing out here, but an extra gunman's always handy. The passage to the station is closed off until the evacuation is complete. Prepare for battle. Take whatever spare ammo is left in the stash. You're one of us now. Our squad is called Children of the Underground.
Once you know the situation, you have to help the Children of the Underground defend the entrance to Hull Station from the mutant attack. After a sonic blast knocks you out and kills a few of the defenders, you then have to fight off many Nosalises that are trying to swarm the defenses, until another sonic blast knocks you out yet again. When you regain consciousness this time though, the defenders are dead and only their leader is barely clinging to life but will soon die. He tells you that the mutants overwhelmed them and that he wants you to take an emergency tape and use it at the station's radio beacon on the surface to contact Polis and inform them of the situation at Hull Station. Artyom takes the tape and you make your way into Hull Station proper. As you go further and further, all you can see is the death and destruction that the mutants brought. Hull Station has been completely destroyed, and the only hope is that many people were able to evacuate into the tunnels. This ending is what Artyom is trying to save his home station from, and why it is imperative that he must get to Polis as soon as possible. While going through the station, Artyom hears some crying in a side passage and decides to investigate.
Uncle, come on, get up! We'll get eaten! Please, wake up! Why are you sleeping? Let's go to Mom! You told me you'd take me to... Go away! Leave me alone! Mom told me not to talk to strangers. Please, Uncle, are you hurt? Say something! He won't wake up! I think he's dead! He's dead, isn't he? Help! You'll take me? I don't know you, but if I don't, I guess I'll get eaten by the monsters. You have a gun? Okay, maybe I'll come with you then. You can shoot the monsters, right? Okay. My name is Sasha. You shoot, and I'll watch your back.
This interaction begins what could be classified as an escort mission, since you have to bring Sasha back to his people. Also, while Sasha is on your back, there is a noticeable gameplay impact due to your aim being a little wonky and not as crisp. After you fight past some lurkers and push on further ahead, you come across a sight that little Sasha has never seen before.
Wow! What's that up there? Wait, Uncle showed me a picture once. The sky! That's the sky, isn't it? It's like a painted ceiling. I'll be famous. I saw the sky!
Since Sasha was born in the metro and has never been to the surface, he has no idea what the sky is or even what fresh air might feel like. Another sad reality for the Children of the Underground. Ascending up the shaft, you hear a voice in distress, and Sasha recognizes it soon enough.
Mom! Mommy! That's my mom! Let's go! She's looking for me!
Thanks, man.
Let me go to
You
her!
have any idea how much that boy means? His father is really important to all of us. And if his son died,
Where's your
that
uncle?
would have killed him. Without him, it'd all be done for.
Uncle is dead, Mom.
Thank you.
But this man took me on his shoulders. I helped...
Oh, God. Poor Serozha. Thank you for saving my son. I can never repay you. But take these cartridges. At least it's something.
After witnessing the touching reunion, one of Hull Station's guards tells you that the Nazis have built an outpost in a destroyed building just outside the entrance to the surface, but that is where you must go if you are going to get to Black Station. After stocking up on ammo and supplies, you make your way out into the cold wastes of the surface for a second time. Once you reach the surface, you can either sneak or fight your way past the guards. This will then lead you to higher ground where you will find a building that houses the radio beacon that the leader of the Children of the Underground was talking about. You don't need to do it, but it would be cruel not to fulfill a dying man's last wish. But it won't be easy since this is the building that the Hull Station guard was talking about. Once you are able to make your way past them though, you will find the transmission equipment on the roof of the building with a demon close by. Once you have played the message, it is time to head for the surface entrance to Black Station. On your way there, you find that Black Station is also under Nazi control, and that they are having some trouble with some demons. Making it past both the Nazis and the mutants leads you into Black Station, where Ullman was supposed to be waiting for you.
Who is it? Surrender and you won't get hurt. I swear!
What took you so long? Where's Pavel? Did he... Alright, later. The situation got worse. Nazis literally flooded the station. He'll have to act alone. Sorry. But if you can shut down their generator, it'll be easier to sneak past the guards. Take this. I will wait for you in the deserted tunnel to Polis.
It can never be easy, can it? Well, anyway, the tip about turning off the generator seems like a solid lead, so you begin to make your descent into Black Station. After turning off the generator, it becomes much easier to stealthily sneak by, because you are now masked by the thick darkness of the metro tunnels. After sneaking past so many guards, and having a few close calls along the way, you are finally able to regroup with Ullman and finally get to Polis. But before you get there, another dream of the Dark Ones takes hold.
These are not the usual mutant creatures. This is something else. Something much worse. Fear. We're weak. We'll die. Terror. This is the end. Even children hated by their parents try to love and understand them. We wish to understand you and help you. We want help. We want peace.
You can't hide from the future.
An unspecified amount of time later, Artyom and Ullman arrive at one of the entrances to the capital of culture in the metro, Polis. After the Great War of 2013, survivors with scientific or educated backgrounds fled down into the metro tunnels mainly from the Moscow State Library above. These survivors came together in the hopes of preserving the knowledge of humanity, and that makes them a beacon of hope and stability to the rest of the citizens of the metro. Since Polis is essentially the beating heart of the metro, the Spartan Order's Rangers have their main base here. Once you are checked in, Miller comes out to receive your message.
Oh, thank you for bringing this to Polis. Was a brave thing you did. I'll call an emergency session. When they summon you, you'll report the situation. All council members, please assemble in the council chamber. I repeat, all council members, please proceed to the council chamber. Escort the boy to the council chamber.
Miller tells Artyom that he needs to present his case to the council, and Artyom does just that.
Unbelievable, Artyom! I'm stunned that the council has refused to help your station. I'm ashamed that they lack the courage you have already shown. But Polis is not the whole metro. There still are people who will rise up and fight the threat of the Dark Ones. Okay. Listen carefully. The Rangers have found several well-preserved missile bases near the city. Some could probably be activated and deliver a missile strike against the Dark Ones. The problem is that the missiles are supposed to be launched from the command center, D6, but we don't know where that is, or if it's operational. However, we do know where that information can be found. There's a huge library on the surface. Dangerous place, but it contains a secret military archive. We must go there. Okay, we'll split up now to avoid the tension. You'll go up from here. I've already arranged that. When you've made your way to the library entrance, I'll be there waiting for you. Okay? Hey, Artyom. Be careful. One more thing. When we go back, we'll head straight for Sparta base. My rangers will meet us there.
Since the council does not see the threat of the Dark Ones as serious, Miller's plan of launching a missile strike against them might be their best and only option left. To get to the library, in order to find potential documents divulging the location of D6, Artyom must once again travel to the surface and reach the entrance to the once great Moscow State Library. Hiking, sneaking, and fighting your way through the wasteland will then lead you to the library entrance, where Miller was supposed to meet you. But he is not there just yet, and instead a horde of Watchers attack you, and you have to fend them off until Miller shows up. Once he ultimately does show up, Artyom, Miller, and another low-ranking ranger named Danila must beat back the aggressive Watchers before you can go inside. After the Watchers have been dealt with, Artyom and his companions head inside, and a persistent demon almost takes out Danila and forces both him and Miller to hold the door while you look for a way deeper into the library. As you make your way past weird vine thingies, you find out that it is not the only mutated creature in these dilapidated halls. And now that you're officially creeped out, you are able to open the blocked door by shooting the board that is blocking it. Once you reunite, you begin to look around when all of a sudden that pesky demon nearly crashes through the window. With the help of an inventive swinging chandelier puzzle, Artyom and the others come to a large room with a large resident.
My, oh my! You probably read about it in books of the saints. It must have been beautiful ones. Listen, Tom. Librarians are some of the most dangerous creatures out here. If you meet one, or two, God forbid, don't fight it. But don't run from it either. The beings won't attack you if you look them in the eye. Now remember, never let them out of your sight. Show them your back, you die. Okay, if a beast gets nervous, move away, but slowly. And if you shoot, well, look or don't look, you won't see anything ever again.
Moments later, that same demon from earlier comes through a hole in the ceiling and nearly kills Danila. Miller then tells you that he has to get Danila back to Polis and that Artyom will have to find the D6 documents and handle the librarians on his own. What follows next is one of the best survival horror sequences that I have ever seen in any piece of media. The main goal of this section is to reach the military archives that are located on the first floor of the library. But to do so, you must make your way past many imposing mutants known as librarians, who are probably mutated from gorillas. Knowing that if you take your eyes off of them or shoot them that they will almost instantly attack you is well executed and makes this one of the most tense sections of the entire game, bar none. Even simple things such as scavenging for resources can't be taken for granted. Just when Artyom is about to escape the librarians, another mutant joins the fray in a scene that in my opinion is an homage to the original 1933 King Kong. Also, the librarians and Kong's roars do have some striking similarities, which lends more credence to the theory that the librarians are mutated from gorillas. In any case, after descending deeper into the underground depository, we finally reach the lower levels. In this darker area, it is possible to avoid even being seen by the librarians, since most of them are either preoccupied with eating or sleeping. After getting the living daylight scared out of us in the ventilation system, and sneaking past more sleeping librarians, Artyom finally arrives at the military archives and hopefully the storage place of the map to D6. While attempting to leave the library, a librarian almost prevents Artyom from doing so, but Miller and Ullman show up just in the nick of time and take Artyom to the Spartan Rangers service base in an old Eastern Orthodox church. While Miller goes to look over the D6 documents, you are able to restock on ammo and supplies, meet old friends, and reunite with the ever-serene Khan.
Hello there, Artyom. I told you we'd meet again. It's a nice base the Rangers got themselves. I heard you received no help from Polis. What's your next move? Keeping silent, you're turning into a Ranger. Take a close look at the road you follow, Artyom, and be aware of how it might end. You reap what you sow, Artyom. Force answers force. War breeds war, and death only brings death. To break this vicious circle, one must do more than just act without any thought or doubt. Well, Artyom, I've been chatting here for far too long. It's time to go.
Meeting up with Miller then leads to a plan for the final act of this adventure to be put in motion. Artyom, Miller, Ullman, and 3 other Rangers will travel on a trolley to D6 and investigate to see if the missiles are still viable. And if some of the missiles are in fact still viable, then we find a way to launch them at the Dark Ones and call it a day. At least, that's the plan, anyway. While traveling on the firewood-powered trolley to D6, Artyom has another vision from the Dark Ones in which he sees a vision of the mother that he never knew and a message from the Dark Ones trying to tempt him to not destroy them. When Artyom regains consciousness, the trolley arrives at an airlock and they have to stop while one of the other rangers tries to open it. And as has been the theme with this game, something is not right. From the tunnel behind you, a pack of Nosalises attack, and you have to fend them off with a flamethrower and whatever else you have at your disposal. After standing your ground, an anomaly shows up, and Artyom and the others barely manage to get through the airlock in time. Now that you are finally nearing the D6 facility, things are only going to get tougher. That begins with another few Nosalis attacks and the loss of Boris, one of the other 3 rangers that were accompanying you. Another Nosalis attack in a sewer-like area later, and you and your team arrive at another blast door. This one, however, doesn't rise all the way, so Artyom has to squeeze underneath in order to scout the situation.
Artyom, are you okay? Great, we'll try to reach you. Meanwhile, look for an exit.
Good luck.
Well, this is just great. Now you have to make your way through a mutated spider den while using your flashlight to keep them at bay. A few tense and scary moments later, and finally you manage to make it out just in time. Once you reunite with Miller and the others, they tell you that they lost Stepan. But before you're able to fully take it in, a mysterious noise approaches.
A sound from the tunnel. Can't you hear it? Something's approaching.
What's up? Looks like an automatic system.
I'll check it out.
Luckily, this automated train still works because it's their ticket to D6. As Artyom and the others arrive at D6, it is clear that no one has been here in a very long time. The air is toxic enough to require gas masks, and it is very dark as well. In order to see what they are doing, Artyom and Miller head up to the control center that is in charge of ventilation. And after switching on a few generators, the air in the facility begins to clear up and the lights come on. Descending down a circular lift, the team comes to a sealed blast door that, with a little bit of hot wiring, opens. Once Vladimir accesses the systems that are still operational in the facility via a computer terminal, he finds some missiles are still active, but the power shuts down due to the battery backup being depleted, leaving him unable to download the data. In order to get the power back up, Artyom and Miller must go down to the lowest level of the facility in order to manually restart the main reactor. After heading back out to the circular lift and down to the lower levels, it is clear that some organic growth that has been mutated by radiation is preventing the reactor from coming online. Once you take an elevator down to the lowest level in D6, that only becomes even more apparent. Fighting your way past the organic matter, Artyom and Miller arrive at the control center. While activating the reactor, one of the rods is able to be accessed, but the other 3 are being blocked by the organic material. In order to raise the rods, Artyom has to get into an overhead crane and then use it to raise the rods one by one manually. Once the reactor is powered up, it is back to the subway car to pick up the remote missile guidance system from Ullman. But before you get there, Artyom and Miller see the treasure of D6.
Look, Artyom. Our heritage. Our future. How much power is here. All of this will rule the earth once more. We won't have to live like rats. Yes, with sword and fire, we'll win back the sky and the sun. We'll climb out of the dirt. Rebuild the cities. The metro tunnels will once again be filled with fast silver trains. Everything will be... everything.
Miller seems to think that the world will ever be normal again, but after what we have seen throughout the game, Artyom and the player know that that can never be fully true. After picking up the gift from Ullman, Artyom and Miller head to the surface and towards the place where our story began.
Same old story, huh? You save the world while sitting waist deep in shit and nobody gives a damn.
Now that we have finally arrived at the beginning of our story, we can finally see how it ends. Instead of being killed by the demon in the beginning, Artyom only caught a glancing blow, and in the end, Miller comes to his rescue. Only one goal now remains: reach Ostankino Tower by any means necessary, or else everyone living in the metro might be lost to the Dark Ones. After fighting through many Watchers, Artyom and Miller finally reach the base of the tower, and now all that is left is to find a way to the top. After Miller's plan of getting shot to the top via elevator almost ends in Artyom falling to his death, Artyom is able for the first time in his 20 years of life able to get a good look at the dead city of Moscow.
Are you okay, Artyom? Fantastic!
But this can't be enjoyed long as demons fly by and are a pain to deal with as you ascend higher than anyone in the metro has ever been.
We just fended some demons off. Still going up. Ah! Come in, Miller! Miller!
Shoot, Artyom!
Artyom, Miller, come in!
Сука! Come in, Ullman. I've been wounded. You keep in touch with Artyom. Over.
Roger that, Colonel. Over.
The laser won't do us any good here, Artyom. The clouds are way too thick. You've got to climb as high as you can and set the guidance system up. Move, boy, move! Everything depends on you now.
Now that Miller is injured and unable to carry on, it is all up to Artyom to get the guidance system to the top of the tower. As he begins to make his way up, almost falling many times as he goes, the Dark Ones are still persistent with their visions.
Destroy him.
Come in, Artyom. Come in.
As you reach the top of Ostankino Tower, you can see the hive of the Dark Ones off in the distance, and Artyom knows what he has to do. But the Dark Ones are going to try everything in their power to stop him, and this includes more visions. Visions of maze-like passageways and self-building tunnels, and as you reach the end, you see an old face from what seems like years ago.
Stop him.
If it's hostile, you kill it.
He's coming to destroy us. Destroy him.
Procedure complete. Artyom, the missiles are in flight!
A wise man once said, "He who leads a war for the love of his fellow man will defeat his enemies." I led my war protecting my family and friends, protecting my home, the metro. We had won. But to this day, I wonder, when we burned the Dark Ones from the face of the earth, was something lost as well?
As the credits roll, Artyom as well as the player are left with a feeling of doubt over whether or not they did the right thing. The Dark Ones turned anyone who came in contact with them insane to the point of death, but they also seemed as if they were trying to reach out through Artyom's visions. The true story is this. It is never fully known in Metro 2033 whether the Dark Ones had fully good or bad intentions, but as Khan said about the mysterious anomalies,
but, you know, it's not any more evil than, say, fire. It all depends on your point of view. Try to get a better understanding of things before you make your judgment.
Khan early on was trying to teach you this lesson in the hope that you might apply it to the Dark Ones. But everyone else that you met or came across in the game refers to the Dark Ones as the enemy, and so if Artyom follows those people, the destruction of the Dark Ones is assured. Since Artyom left his home station of exhibition, there have been many points in his journey where he has had the opportunity to earn moral points. From something as simple as playing a musical instrument to something as big as rescuing POWs captured by the Nazis. All of these choices and decisions add to or take away from Artyom's morality as he progresses. If you reach the end of the game with a high enough morality level, then you have an opportunity to shoot down the missile's remote guidance system and save the Dark Ones. The reason why I chose not to take that route in this playthrough is because in Dmitry Glukovsky's original book Metro 2033, destroying the Dark Ones was the canon ending. The Destroy the Dark Ones ending also makes sense because the sequel to Metro 2033 that 4A Games made in 2014 picks up after the ending in which the Dark Ones are burned from the face of the earth and how that might not have been the best course of action at the time. When Metro 2033 was originally released in 2010, it did not do anything crazy in terms of trying something new in regards to post-apocalyptic action-adventure and survival horror. But all of the things that it did do, in my personal opinion, were all near perfect. The use of liminal space to instill the feeling of horror and dread over what might be ahead in the depths of the metro tunnels, the stealth sections around monsters and enemies alike that made you want to hold your breath, and the gripping story that tackled with age-old themes of not judging a book by its cover and the hubris of man all came together to form one of the most immersive pieces of media that I have ever experienced. And with 2 sequels released in the years since this game's release and another rumored to be in development, it seems like we will soon be returning to the metro tunnels made famous by Metro 2033.